Hey guys, I got a wonderful surprise for you when I return on the McNeal Be Free Show.
Black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Hey guys, welcome. You've just discovered the McNeal Be Free Show, where it's all about being financially independent, responsible for self, enjoying life, and empowering others. Free. So today, I have a wonderful surprise with you today. A friend of mine that I'm going to be interviewing. I have been promising them for I don't know how long that I'm going to come over. And so it took me about, I don't know, 3 months, 2 months. So anyway, yeah. So let me introduce you guys to my friend Niara, and she's gonna be talking with me today. So I don't know, her husband may not be camera ready, you know. So she's got the whole family here, but we're just gonna interview her. But her husband is around too, He didn't. Mike, you wanna make an appearance?
Next time.
Okay, so he said he's gonna make his appearance next time. So we're just gonna hang out with you today, Niara. Is that okay?
That's fine by me.
Okay, so you wanna introduce yourself, tell the people who you are. And then we're gonna just jump right into it. So I actually, me and Niara was we're Facebook friends. That's how I think we
How
we
we first
met.
connected.
And and that was even before you
Before I moved,
arrived.
yep.
You were still in Israel
Exactly.
when we were Facebook friends, and
Right.
then you just so happened to see me at Palace Africa event.
Exactly.
That evening at the was that a New Year's
It was
event?
a New Year's event.
And you're like, I know you, and I was like, I know you. You that kind of that troublemaker person
That's
on
not
my
what I said.
Facebook page. No, that's what I said. I was like,
Oh, I'm a
you,
troublemaker?
You was that kind of that.
Not me.
Hey, not but
I'm a woman of the people.
But I just remembered you because when you post something, it's meaningful, and so I was like, so you stood out when I saw you at the event. It's like, yeah, I know you.
Well,
So,
thank you. Thank
yeah.
you. I try to be meaningful. I try to be purposeful in my life.
Yeah, yes. So you guys came here from Israel. So I guess, just tell us who you are and how you guys get to Ghana.
Okay. So my name is Niara, obviously. And as you stated, we came here from Israel. I've been living in Israel for almost 19 years.
Okay.
With our children.
Uh-huh.
And we actually came to Ghana for the first time in 1999.
99.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was before all of the hype,
Ah.
and had we known then when we came, we would have purchased land. But
Yeah.
never in our wildest dreams
Did
did we
you
think.
figure it just go up
Exactly.
like that? Yeah.
And so, I mean, we talk about, hindsight is 20/20. Wow. I would say that is my biggest regret. But at any rate, actually prior to moving here to Ghana, we were looking at other countries. We had even considered Belize.
Mhm.
My husband went with our second son to Tanzania, so we were
Okay.
checking out Tanzania, we're checking out Kenya.
So raise your voice a little bit.
Okay.
Make sure that
Okay.
you can pick it up.
So prior to actually moving here to Ghana, we were checking out other places, other countries. We had looked at Belize for a long time. We actually thought that we were going to move to Belize.
To Belize.
Exactly.
Okay.
We had checked out Tanzania. My husband and son had went to Tanzania, our second son. And we'd also checked out Kenya.
Ah.
But someone that we knew told my husband, you should check out Ghana. And we're like, oh, we've been to Ghana before. We're already familiar with Ghana, but we want to check out a different African country. But following the year of return, we thought that there was going to be a direct path to citizenship. And so that was really the pushing force
Right.
that made us decide to come and move to
And they
Ghana.
did some good marketing on you, huh?
Oh yeah, we fell for the okie doke.
Yeah, they did some good marketing.
They
but,
did.
You know, hey, they did, you know, I guess that
Yeah.
made it work.
Yeah, they followed the Yes We Can script.
Right, yeah, there you go.
So yeah.
So,
I mean, but I don't have any regrets. I am very happy living.
so when did you guys move to Ghana? How long it's been now?
October 29th. So we've
Okay.
been here a little over a year.
A little over a year. And how are you adjusting to Ghana?
I've adjusted fine. I always tell people that Israel prepared me for living in Ghana.
Okay.
My husband and I all the time talk about there are a lot of similarities between Israel and Ghana. So
That's interesting.
yeah, many of the things that you see here in Ghana, things that are very off-putting for diasporans, we're accustomed to because we experienced it in Israel.
Okay.
The lack of order, people relieving themselves outside, things like that. Having to wait a long time for things. Your paperwork getting lost by government
And
offices.
You mean to tell me you see this stuff in Israel?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, boy, that's
People not being
interesting.
punctual.
People aren't punctual in Israel?
Israelis are not.
Hold up.
Yes.
Now you telling me something. You mean to tell me
Now they on CP time.
next you gonna tell me that there's corruption in Israel?
Woo.
Is there corruption in Israel?
I think that Israel would make Ghana blush.
Girl, I'm about to do a Fred Sanford over here.
Yeah. So when we got here, it was like, it's just
But
like
they
Israel.
don't, I tell people, it's like I tell people that talk, people be telling me about, I got to pay bribes here and stuff. I say, yeah, I might pay, $1 here, $1 there. I say, but in the West, when they get you, it ain't no dollar.
Oh,
It's
right.
like maybe
The price
$100,000, half your salary.
Exactly.
What was the FTX scandal? That was billions they just took.
Right.
So, so you let me pay my $1 or $2 and, just leave me with my 100,000 whatever else, but yeah.
Right, just for example, before we left Israel, not too long before we had left Israel, the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu's wife, had just she had went to trial for basically stealing government funds. She was using, government funds for her own personal use.
Oh, wow.
So it's very common. A lot of time, particularly Ghanaians, they think that we are an anomaly. The corruption here in Ghana, particularly as it relates to the politicians.
Right.
But as I always tell people, they pale in comparison when you look at what other nations are doing, particularly nations in the West who they wrote the script for it. So.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, that's very interesting. So, you guys stayed in Israel for how many years again?
Almost 19.
Almost 19 years. So you were a part of the Hebrew Israelite community?
No, when we were living there, we weren't a part of the community. But we are. I would say that we are close to the community. My best friend is actually a part of the community. And we still have people that we consider friends who are part of the community.
So because that's the thing, a lot of people think that if you are black in Israel, you are part of the Hebrew Israelite, but that's not necessarily the case.
You do have. It's a small number of blacks who live in Israel that are not a part of the community, but there's a small portion.
Okay.
We knew a few Jewish black families that have moved from Canada, as well as from the United States who are living there.
And what percentage of Israel is black?
It's hard to say because when people think about the black people in Israel, that's who they think of, the Hebrew Israelite community. or they think about the Ethiopian Jews. But there's also a sizable Palestinian community of black Palestinians. And when I say black, I'm talking about if you looked at them, you wouldn't be able to differentiate between them and Ghanaians. But they've been there, you know, they can trace their lineage back over 1,000 years.
Right.
And they suffer from dual oppression.
Right. So they are Semitic.
Absolutely. the true Semites.
Okay.
The original Semites.
I hear.
But you don't. Yeah, when you turn on the TV, you know, you won't hear about them. You don't see them. And as I said, they suffer from a dual oppression. They suffer discrimination from Israelis, but they also suffer discrimination from Palestinians, from Arab Palestinians. So.
Got you. So what made you guys leave Israel and say we're gonna come to wherever, another country in Africa, whatever?
So we had been strategizing for years on an exit plan from Israel. Going back to the United States was never an option for us. It was never something that, particularly because we have children.
Okay. And you were born in where?
In Dallas.
Dallas. Okay.
Yeah, Dallas, Texas.
Got you.
So my husband's from Illinois.
And he's from Illinois. Okay.
So going back to the U.S. wasn't an option, something that we desired. So that's why I said we had looked at several countries. We had looked at Belize and Tanzania and Kenya. But when you have a family, particularly a large family, then you want to be, wise before making another move, because moving to Israel was very difficult for us in terms of the transition and getting ourselves, I would say, stable.
Okay, so you have, it's you, Michael, and how many children?
We have 5 kids.
You have 5 kids.
Right.
Oh wow.
Right.
Wow. Y'all got a real family. That ain't no that ain't no play. That's something real. That. So,
exactly.
So all of the kids came with you guys?
No. So our eldest son, he actually stayed in Israel until he finished his military service, because military service is compulsory.
Right, for everybody.
Exactly.
All the women too is compulsory.
Exactly.
Okay.
For young women as well. So the young women, they do 2 years.
Okay.
And the young men, they do 2 years and 8 months. It used to be 3 years, but it's 2 years and 8 months now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it is compulsory.
Got you.
So our eldest son, he finished his military service, and then when he finished, he worked for a few months just to earn some money to be able to sustain himself when he transitioned from Israel.
Okay.
And so he and our second son, they're not here with us.
So, alright, so are all of you guys citizens of Israel?
Yes.
Okay, got you. Interesting. And you say when you guys were looking for somewhere to move, is it because, what was the reason why you wanted to leave?
So when we lived in Israel, we did experience a lot of racism.
Okay.
And so I just, with the struggles that we went through, for me as an African person, being born, as an African person who was born in the United States and who was subjected to racism, for me to have to witness my children go through the same things that I experienced, that wasn't what I wanted for them. And then I was just at a point where I was just tired of that.
Right.
I wanted to be in an environment, right, where I didn't feel like every time I left out of my home, I was going to war.
So what does racism look like in Israel as opposed to the United States?
Right. That's interesting that you should ask that, because it's so difficult to describe, because it is different. It's a different kind of racism, And then you also have that aspect of the fact that I am American, right? There were many instances where my Americanness trumped my blackness. So
in a negative way or a positive way?
No, in a positive way.
Okay.
So for example, Because America is seen throughout the world as, a country that everybody wants to migrate to. It's, the wealthiest country in the world. It's, the land of the free and home of the brave. So it has done an excellent job at propagandizing that image, of itself.
Right.
So a lot of Israelis, they hold the United States in a high regard, right? And they want to go there to live. So depending on where I was, I would say anytime I was in Jerusalem, anytime I was in the center of the country, like in Herzliya or Tel Aviv, the response to me was different. Oftentimes people would just assume that I was a diplomat.
Okay.
And they would treat me accordingly.
Right.
Right. But if I was like in the southern part of the country, like in Beersheba, or even close to where we live, that wasn't the case. It was a totally different type of response. Beersheba, like in the southern part of the country, there was a different response. People, and not just even from Israelis, because in the southern region, like in the Beersheba area, you have a lot of Arab communities around.
Okay.
So even like from Arabs, they just see black. They don't distinguish. All black is the same to them.
Right.
Whether you're Ethiopian, whether you're part of the Hebrew community, and so they see you as inferior, and that's how they engage you.
Okay, so you have a sizable amount of Palestinians there who kind of
African
claim.
Palestinians.
Okay, so
Are you referring to the African Palestinians or Arab Palestinians?
I'm just referring to Indians. So did either of them treat you differently? Like,
right?
African and Palestinians treated you differently than.
Well, African Palestinians, they're always very warm.
Okay.
When they saw me and engaged me, very friendly. They saw me as their sister. That was always the response that I had from them.
Gotcha.
There's another dynamic, unfortunately, with many of the Ethiopian brothers and sisters. And it's something because I always felt that there was something there, because the response was it was the same, and it was suspicious to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the families a black family that had moved to Israel from Canada, the husband was sharing with us how he was on the bus once, and he just went up to an Ethiopian, it was an older gentleman, and he asked him, he said, why is it that you all don't embrace us? Ethiopians don't embrace Americans, black Americans,
Okay.
or blacks who come from North America. Why don't you embrace us? And he said the Ethiopian brother told him point blank that they are told by the Ministry of Interior to stay away from blacks who come from North America. And that if they engage with them, that they will send them back to Ethiopia. And I was so shocked by that.
Interesting. Very interesting.
As I said, I had suspected it just because of the response, but I was shocked at the fact that they were so candid about it,
Right.
So there's not a lot of interaction between blacks from North America and Ethiopians, unfortunately. Even I've had people share with me, other blacks from America share with me that, Ethiopians had said to them, that they were the descendants of slaves, and so, for example, one young man was dating an Ethiopian young woman, and the relationship was that serious. He wanted to marry her, and she told him point blank, "Oh, my family would not allow me to marry you because you're the descendant of a slave."
Right.
So there's a lot of miseducation,
Right.
of our brothers and sisters there. And
Right.
it's unfortunate to see, but it's a reality.
Yeah,
It's a reality.
yeah. I mean, that's just conditioning. There's conditioning everywhere. You know,
Right.
So.
Right, they didn't leave a stone unturned.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, a lot of people here have been conditioned. You know, throughout Africa, that's been conditioned, and a lot of that, you know, a lot of them have been told to kind of stay away from African Americans. So, you know, it doesn't surprise me.
Stay away from those blacks.
Yeah, yeah. So, so now you've been here. You know, you guys have settled. You have 5 children, but you brought 3 of them here.
Yeah.
The children go to school here, or how does that work out? What are the ages of the children here, and how do they?
Okay, so we have a 17-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 9-year-old here.
Okay.
Schooling, that's been a big challenge for us.
Yeah.
So the 9-year-old had been going to a private school. The 17-year-old and the 14-year-old, they have been learning online.
Right.
With an African-centered school, actually, in D.C.,
Okay.
Wilson Baker Academy.
Okay. Yeah, because I could imagine that they're coming from Israel. I imagine their education is probably superior to when they come here. They probably, you know, I've heard a lot of people say, hey, you know, I'm bored when I go to the schools here. They're not telling me anything new. They're not teaching me. So I can imagine your children probably went through that same thing. Like,
so for my daughter, the 9-year-old, yes, and the 14-year-old, the older boy, he never was in any school system here in Ghana.
okay.
Because he is in what's considered senior high school.
Okay.
And that was even more challenging trying to find a school for him.
Okay.
And when we thought that we did find one, it just didn't work out in terms of aligning with our ideology.
Got you.
So,
Okay.
and even for him, like, unfortunately here in Ghana, many of the schools, particularly the public schools, they still require the children to cut their hair, to shave their heads.
Oh, okay.
And so that was something that our oldest son was
Just
vehemently opposed to.
trying to do.
So he was
Right.
like, I am not cutting my hair. So, and of course, we supported him in that.
Right. Okay. Well, you know, I mean, education is something that, you know, you really do as a family. That's something you guys are responsible for. We've just kind of been conditioned to think that the state, we have to send our children out to get an education. But, you know, nowadays you just have to be creative about it. Like,
Right,
hey,
there's so many options.
Yeah.
We have so many homeschooling networks.
Exactly.
So, and I'm discovering, you know, since I've been here in Ghana, that the majority of the diasporic community, they either, their children learn online or they're in some type of homeschooling network.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they're not sending their children, you know, to private schools or to the public schools because neither one offer a curriculum that, you know, that is pleasing to them or that meets their.
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
I
their
know. You know,
expectations.
when I was when I first came, I was married, and I told my wife at the time that if we had children, they would be homeschooled.
Right.
And her family looked at me like I had just came off some kind of off the nut form.
Right.
It's like home. What is that? What do you mean homeschool?
Right.
How you gonna homeschool? It's like, yeah, they would be homeschooled. I wouldn't send any children of mine to school here. You would best believe that. So, yeah. So I understand. I understand. So, kudos to you guys for, being responsible. Now, you have, you told me that you have an ebook now that you wrote,
Yes.
so that's what we really want to get into, your ebook.
Right.
So what is the ebook about?
So the ebook is called Your Complete Guide to Relocating to Ghana.
Okay.
So it's an exhaustive book that can be purchased online.
Okay.
About what to expect when you arrive here, how to prepare yourself, what to come with, what to sell, because there are so many questions that people have, even if you're just wanting to visit. Right?
Okay.
And so I thought about all of the, not just the questions that I myself have, but questions that people have asked, right?
Got you.
And so I did my best to answer all of those questions in my ebook. And so many different people, because this is the second country outside of the United States that we've lived in.
Uh-huh.
And so many people were like, you need to write a book on, relocating to another country. Particularly when I moved here, I had a lot of people that were, pushing me to write it, and I was like, I don't think,
Gotcha.
It's like you have people on YouTube, they talk about it. I'm like, no, but I think that you should write a book. And so I thought about it, and as you know, living here, there are no jobs, so you have to become.
Exactly.
If you don't have an entrepreneurial spirit, Ghana would definitely help you develop one.
That's it. You ain't coming in getting no job. There ain't
There's
even
no
enough
jobs
for them. Yeah,
Right.
So if there's not enough jobs for them,
Right.
As a diaspora, you ain't getting no job. So,
You're at the bottom of the list.
guys, you
Exactly,
guys gotta
so-
be very entrepreneurial,
Right,
Come
right,
here.
right.
She's telling
So-
you the truth there.
But the beauty is that it's possible. When I look at what I've been able to achieve and accomplish, not just myself but my husband as well, here in the short amount of time that we've been here, I think that speaks a lot to the structure and the culture
Right.
of living here in Ghana, and why it is so attractive, particularly to blacks from America.
Right.
You
So you guys, like I know, Niara is they're vegan, so they're vegans. They ain't no play vegan, they vegan, and Niara is an excellent cook.
Thank you.
So I know you've been doing your cooking, but what else do you do entrepreneurial to survive in Ghana? And it's not just about like I can come here and survive. It's just me, but I can't even imagine me
Right.
plus
Three
a
dependent,
family.
right.
So that's
Right,
what it-
and that's also something that I tackle in the ebook as well, because that's an excellent point. It's very different when you're single by yourself and you're only responsible for yourself, as opposed to being responsible for three other whole human beings.
right.
You have to become extremely creative and really think outside of the box. But it's something how I tell people this all the time. Something metaphysical happens when you get to this land.
Uh-huh.
It really does.
Yeah.
Because things that like I said, what I've been able to achieve just in a little over a year in being here, I didn't achieve in almost 19 years in Israel, and prior to that being in the United States. But also those barriers, like that glass ceiling that exists that we have to fight against in the United States, as well as in Israel, and I would imagine in any other Western country, because you hear
Gotcha.
people who come from the UK, they say the same thing as well, right? That constantly having to prove yourself. So that doesn't exist here. It doesn't exist here. You show up, with your skills, your knowledge, and you're able to succeed. The only thing that's stopping, your only limitation is yourself.
Right.
And so again, that's the beauty of living here in Ghana. And so, which is why we tolerate, the things that we tolerate here, because there are so many other pros, and there's a certain peace of mind that we have living here.
Got you. So, is it worth it for people to come? Because a lot of people that are here, they're trying to leave and go to the U.S. They're trying to leave and go to China. They're trying to leave and go
Right.
to wherever. So, you know, is it worth it for people to come here? You say there are no jobs for them. So people are like, well, what am I going to do when I get there? Does your book help these people understand how to maneuver through?
It absolutely, definitely. I wouldn't say gives you the keys, but it lays out for you how you can formulate a plan to be able to transition from the U.S. or from wherever you're coming here to Ghana. And one of the things that I touch upon in the book, and I would say that to anybody who is considering relocating to Ghana or to any African country, is that you first have to determine what is most important to you. What do you value? Okay, so if going to Walmart and Target and having access to hot Cheetos and salt and vinegar Lay's potato chips, if that's what you value, then I would say that Ghana is not for you. There are certain things I feel like that you cannot put a price on, right? And I feel like your peace of mind is one of them. Not being constantly subjected to racial violence, I think that that's one of them. When I look at my children and I see their freedom, I see how they govern themselves and conduct themselves when we are, out and about. I see the difference in them.
Okay.
And to me, that's something that's worth more than all the money in the world.
Good.
I think that for me, that's what I value. And so I would say that it depends on the person and their value system.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Although I would say for people who desire that Western lifestyle and conveniences, that exists here. I mean, you've been here. Their areas.
If they want to go to KFC, they can find KFC right here.
You can find that here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you want chicken wings and hot wings and hot dogs, you can find all of that here.
Yeah. You find it all here.
Luxury living,
Right.
it exists here.
Yeah.
So you're not going to miss out on that. But it is like a specific area where that type of lifestyle, that Western lifestyle exists.
Right.
So we don't live in that area.
Right. Okay.
Because that's not something of importance to us. If we know where to go to find it, we know how to get to the mall. We want to go to the mall.
Gotcha. Yeah. You go. They got some malls for you guys to spend all your money in if that's what you're looking for.
Exactly.
They'll take it very quickly. You want to go down there and spend more for rent than New York City charge. They got places for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah, it can get very expensive here, and you go back to the embassy crying for them to buy you a ticket. I've seen it. So don't get caught slipping here in Ghana, because
don't be one of those ones.
You get caught slipping here, it ain't like you slip back at home and
right,
you got
there's
friends
a social
and family.
setting. You can't go to the welfare office,
all that.
right, and get a check.
Yeah.
But that's also a misconception that a lot of people have back in the States, is they think, it's cheap to live in Ghana. It can be if you're living in Cape Coast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you have to make it, where you're comfortable living like a local.
Exactly.
Most of us aren't comfortable living like a
Precisely.
local.
Most of us are not comfortable living like a local.
Me, I'm used to living. I can live in the bush now.
Right.
I can go live in the bush, and I can eat banku and fufu and
coconut and corn
and,
for lunch.
Yeah, I can do that. So, but most Westerners can't do that.
Right.
Trying to eat no Gary every day. So yeah. So now, where can they purchase the book?
So there are 2 platforms that my book can be purchased on, and you can include the link in the description. But one of them is called Gumroad, and it is an online platform for independent sellers.
Okay.
And then the other one is System.io. It can be purchased, and as I said, you can include the link.
Yeah, I'll definitely put it on the screen.
for people who are interested in purchasing the ebook.
Okay, very good. I guess anything else you like to say? How much is the book for purchasing?
It's $20, $20 US.
$20 US. Okay, so anything else you like to say? Now before you do, I got something very important that I want to tell the people. One of the things that I have a vivid memory of is when me and your husband told me to come out and play some pool.
I know.
And I didn't play.
Oh my God. You are not right. Oh my goodness. See.
And I hadn't played pool since I was a little boy.
Okay, so now this got real personal. This has become a family beef now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to redeem my husband's good name. Our sons are actually great pool players.
So you gonna try to send them out to play pool against me to avenge your husband?
It's become a family vendetta.
Y'all see that?
That's
Y'all
right.
see that?
I mean, since you want to put us on blast like that, I mean, we don't have a choice now.
Guys, I'm gonna put the link to that video where they played pool with me. I'm gonna put the link up here. Y'all can go back to the video and see it, okay?
You fucking mad, smack, yo.
Hey.
It's
yeah. So, so at any rate, anything else you want to tell the people? Well, you got them, I ain't want to throw you off guard, Once you go and collect yourself, Michael might go and get camera ready so he can jump on you now.
No, it's all good. Seriously.
Yeah.
So no, I have made it a personal mission of mine, right, to assist all Africans in America who do have a desire to come back to Ghana, to repatriate, or even to visit, to be of whatever assistance that I can. So for those of you who are interested, for those of you who have questions, please feel free to reach out to me. You can reach me on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram at that_black_vegan_chick. Any questions that you have, I will make myself available to you, because I encourage us to repatriate, because I mean, Africa is only going to become great, when we do the work to make it great. So
right.
I think that's really important to stress, because a lot of people, they point out, the negative things or the bad things or the things that they don't like on the continent. I mean, but we can't wait for somebody else to develop the continent and to make it into what it is that we desire. Exactly. We have to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
We have to take, the initiative.
Yeah.
So if you have a skill, if you have, the mindset to come to the continent and to be a part of the movement and to creating the continent and to restoring the continent back to its glory, then come, because we need you. All hands on deck.
Okay, and the title of the book?
It is Your Complete Guide to Relocating to Ghana.
Your Complete Guide to Relocating to Ghana.
Yes.
By Niara. How's your last name?
Scott.
Niara Scott on there. Okay. So you guys here, I'll put the links and everything. You'll see it on the screen. So go check it out, and support a sister here doing her thing over here in Ghana. Like I say, ain't no jobs here. You come over here, you be entrepreneurial. Whether it's working online, writing ebooks. That's how we
selling
get down.
food.
Yeah,
making clothes.
Hey, we don't
doing hair.
Talking about looking for no job. Forget that.
We create the jobs. We're the job creators.
This is true. It's very true. So there you have it. That's what we're doing today. We came over here and they fed me. So I was trying to get this interview out the way before I came down with the itis, you know. They already fed me, so, you know, my eyes starting to get drowsy now. So we're going to end this interview, and yeah, we'll do it another time. So, you know, I appreciate you for coming on the show. And
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we'll put you out there and see if we can get some people to, you know, support what you're doing. And yeah, so at any rate, guys, if you like what we're talking about, you know, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Like, share, subscribe, you know, give me your comments. And, you know, also, if you haven't already done so, guys, hit the website, www.migratingculturecrossing.com. And, you know, if you are planning on relocating to Ghana, you're definitely going to need somewhere to live. And, you know, if you want to buy a house, we're going to sell you the house, you know. So, we got you covered on that one. But you can also find me at Facebook, at facebook.com/Eric McNeal 3. As always, Ooorahhh Uhuru. Now be free.